Come on in, have a seat. You caught us on another beautiful day here at YourSuccessAtLast.com. Welcome to another episode of Your Success at Last DNA, those daily necessary actions, those needed attitude adjustments to help you deal with your emotions, reach your dreams, just be everything you want to be. Guess I'm reverting back to my old Army days. Hey, it's me, Tracy Brinkman, and welcome. I'm going to talk a little bit about being mad, being PO'd, being angry today. But before we go there, this again, I don't know how I'm doing it, but it's just kind of happening. We're going to ask the question that we always ask on this day, and is, what do you want or need to change? I was going to say, what do you want, right? That's like your goals, but we're going to pause that for a moment. But think about this. What do you want or need to change? Because here's what happens. After you take a minute to kind of think about what it is you want, we all want something. Maybe we want to be a better mom or a better dad. We want more money. We want that new promotion. We want that new car, refrigerator, stove, whatever it is, right? There's something in our world that we want to or need to change in order to get those things. Because if you keep doing the same things you're doing, you're going to keep getting the same things you got. That's all there is to it. So to want something new, to actually receive it, you're going to have to do something new. And it may be doing the same old thing in a new way, with a new step, with a new vigor, or whatever. So the question becomes, what do you want or need to change? Now, one of those changes is emotional. And I know a couple of days ago we talked about the 8 tips to control your anger. Because you know what, you're going to get mad. That's all there is to it. Things happen, and you have an emotional response. And sometimes that emotional response is anger. Right? You get mad. You get upset. You get PO'd. Well, today I want to talk about sometimes that anger just seems to carry on. And as you go about your daily life, I want you to take notice of how you relate to your friends and your family, your loved ones, your co-workers. What do you see? Do you see a kind, patient, caring person that kind of goes out of their way to take other people's feelings into consideration while still respecting your own? Or, this is where the topic comes up. Do you find yourself a little more on edge, feeling tense, right? Or in a hurry, and maybe just downright rude and angry at everyone? And maybe it's not everyone. Maybe it's a category of people, just your family or just your coworkers or anything else like that, some other category of people. Now, if it's that last part, then that's why we're here today. I want to help you maybe focus on and clarify what it is that may be eating away at you. Because here's the thing. Once you identify what's making you upset, what's making you mad and angry, well, then you can take the first step to releasing it. So, phew. You need to take a breath there. Sorry about that brief pause. It was like I said a whole bunch of words with one breath, and all of a sudden my head was saying, ooh, you better slow down. Anyway, here's the things I want you to consider, maybe reasons that you're carrying around your anger. Number one, you wish your life was different. This is usually probably one of the number one things. Here's the question. Are you living the life you truly want to live? You hear me talk about this all the bloody time when it comes about goal setting. That's the first thing I tell folks to do is look at what you want. How do you want your life to be? So, in my goal setting forums, I call it the Vista Vision. I want you to sit up on that Vista and look down over the entirety of your life, right? So that could be one of the things that subconsciously or consciously is eating away at you. I mean, because have things turned out the way you wanted and always hoped for, or even planned for them to? In most people's life, the answer to that is no, they haven't. So if you or they are angry, one of the things could be is that the specifics of your life are vastly different, and maybe even disappointingly different for what it is that you really want your life to be. And that is just eating you up inside. So when you face that, that's step one. And then you can start making a plan today to change one thing that's important to you. One thing. You can't take on the world. That can be very overwhelming. And generally, what will happen is you won't do anything. But you can start by making a plan and changing one thing that you find important to you. And then the next thing. Then later on, the next thing. So follow that plan and then repeat just one thing at a time. And you'll start feeling yourself your mood changing, a little smile starting to stretch across your face. All right. The next one is, ooh, too close to home on this one. Are you in an unhappy relationship? People get bred into them at a young age that you go into, you meet that special person, you marry them, you raise a family, and you grow old together. What happens if you marry the wrong person? Or what happens if at the time you feel it's the right person, and then you guys kind of grow in different directions? It happens, right? So for whatever reason, the two of you aren't relating very well anymore. Perhaps you're arguing all the time, or you just don't prefer the same things anymore. You might even have checked out of the relationship. This is what happens a lot, and that just tends to fester the issue even more. And it could be as simple as you're not quite sure how to change things, so you just get mad. And you get mad at the stupidest little things, and your partner's going, what the heck? So I want you to allow yourself to honestly confront the truth so that it can help you lead yourself to the life you seek. And the answer could be reinvigorating the relationship, or maybe you just have to get out of it. I don't know. Only you know your situation. Okay? So the next one is you're struggling to resolve an issue from the past. Maybe it's your youth. Maybe it's last year or 5 years ago. And it's one of those things. Because here's the thing. Look, I'm no psychiatrist, no psychologist, but from what I've studied and the things I've learned over my time on this planet is that there can be things that happen to you or to someone you care about deeply in your past that they're just kind of eating away at you. I mean, maybe you find yourself thinking about your dysfunctional family or how growing up the way you did seems to mark every day of your life, right? Why did your father have to be a drinker or drink too much? Uh, why did your siblings think it was okay to pick on you all those years and just suppress everything that was about you and tease you relentlessly, right? Unresolved family, I guess, issues that originated in your family can often trigger angry feelings. So as you encourage yourself to face these issues, you'll be motivated to reach the own resolutions in your life and become happier. And quite often, you're going to need help with this one. Um, maybe not. You again, this comes back to only you know what's going on in your world. I'm just trying to give you a little point in the right direction, a little nudge, right? A little push out the motivational door. Here's another one we hear. We say, it used to be when I was growing up. It was get a good education, get a good job, and you'll be happy. So maybe you want to earn a college degree and you have it. When you were in high school, it was one of the biggest dreams. Hey, I'm going to go to college and I'm going to become X. X could be CEO, teacher, whatever it is. But life happened. And that's what happened. Life gets in the way, and you didn't do it. And in the back of your head, it's nagging at you. You always thought you'd do it, but here you are, 5, 10, 15, 20 years after high school graduation, and you still don't have that diploma. And you're upset with yourself, right? And you're not making any efforts towards achieving your dream. It's okay to dream and even pursue what you want 10 years later. Come on, you hear me saying this all the time. You got to realize that such issues will logically help you figure out what to do about them. So if you say, hey, don't have it yet, what do I want to do? Do you still want it? And if you don't, let it go. And if you do, there's 18 gazillion ways to get a good college degree while still working and taking care of a family. All right, now let's touch base on a couple of more here. Actually, about three more. You're a bit disappointed of how you take care of yourself. I hear this one a lot. And you can read a lot about it on how the average weight of the average American has gone up. I read an article just not too long ago, a couple of weeks back, on how the automotive industry uh, reconfigured their crash test dummies because of that weight change. It went from the average, I believe it was a 150-pound crash test dummy to a 230-pound crash test dummy. Well, for guys like me, that's a problem because I'm not sure I'm going to fit into that mold. Actually, I know I'm not going to fit into that mold. But back to my point, you're a bit disgusted at the lack of care you've given yourself. You used to work out, or maybe you want to work out, and you used to keep your abs in shape. You used to have that nice, 6-pack, 8-pack. Tell me, remember those days? Oh, I do. But now you wear bigger shirts to hide that 1-pack, to hide how out of shape you are. You grab a fast food meal on the way home from work and crash on the sofa when you get home. There's nothing wrong with that. You worked hard. You want to relax. But you still got to care for yourself. You got to admit to yourself what's going on to ignite your self-confidence and your motivation to improve your personal habits. And it's just that. It's a habit. Over the course of time, you got away from doing this, taking care of yourself, to doing that. And that being the better care of yourself, getting those 6-pack abs back. And maybe you'll never get the 6-pack abs back, but you can certainly get yourself back down to that original crash test dummy weight, right? Okay. Here's one that I addressed not too long ago. Becoming a person that you don't know anymore. Yeah, along your life's path, and things happen, right? Job changes, you lose a job, you get fired from a job, you get laid off from a job, relationship shifts, people grow in a different direction, all these different things. Life is on a path that you're unhappy with, and you're maybe just still confused on how to change it. And the person you've become as you're dealing with that life, yeah, you care less and less about that person. And when you do that, you start caring less and less about how you treat others, even those you love, right? And you start getting angrier or more bitter by the day. So recognize you have the power to change what you want, to change who you are. That's huge. Start thinking about, hey, wow, this is the turning point, and now I kind of maybe realize what was going on. Here's what I want, and start heading in that direction. Okay. And the last one is a big one, and I went through this one too, and that's why I added this one last. Is you or someone you know is suffering a trauma or suffered a trauma. Many of you know, recently lost my best friend, and when you lose someone really close to you, that can cause you to close off. I know when I lost my daughter, I did bury myself in work. I did. I almost cut myself off to everything else, including my daughter, my family for that matter. The benefit was I got a few promotions along the way. The downside was I was really cutting my family off, and I had to reignite that. So here's the thing: whenever a trauma occurs, the person's feelings can be, or quite often are initially, panic, fear, and maybe even horror. And sometimes they don't want to deal with that. They just cut it off. When the traumatic event ends, these feelings can shift to confusion and troubling feelings. And those troubling feelings can run the gamut of healthy to non-healthy. Okay, so uh, you or the person going through the trauma is thinking, why did it have to happen? I know it was the question I asked when Robbie passed away most recently. So why Robbie? He was awesome. He was like one of the best men I know, actually the best man I know my entire life. And it's difficult to accept such a troubling event could happen. Right? It's like, God dang, why him? right? When this person over here who's done this and done that, and you're going, is it just a disgusting human being that I can't stand for valid reasons, maybe even, right? Why couldn't it have been him? That's probably an awful thing to say, but hey. So while it's difficult to accept that such a troubling event can occur, it did, and it makes you feel angry. So you just have to, I don't know, process through it. This is a tough one. One choice, you have to make the choice to move forward and seek help. And the help can come from a family member, a loved one, someone that cares about you and just understands, is willing to listen to you talk it out, right? Let you unload, let you cry on their shoulder, as it were, right? Weep like a baby. It's very refreshing. Okay? So here's the thing. Life is chock full of emotions. It's full of good ones, great ones, magnificent ones, and good's full of bad ones too. So if you find yourself feeling annoyed or frustrated or angry, then it's certainly time to take a look at what's going on with you and around you, right? Because by determining why you're angry, that's going to be the key to not only what to do to decrease your troublesome feelings, but in motivating you to take that all important first step to freeing you from that red-faced grip of anger. Working through Well, that's good speaking, Tracy. Thank you so much. See, working through your anger is going to free you from the unhappiness. And don't we all just want to be happy, right? All right, I'm going to leave you as I always do. Think successfully. Take action. Bye. Come on.